I really don't even know where to begin this one. This one really, really, really hurt. Um, yeah, I mean, you walk into a game like this, playing bottom of the ladder. They've won one game for the season. You know, it's almost like you go in expecting a bit of a percentage boost, looking to bounce back from the heartbreaking loss the week before, and fuck, that that hurt. That one, yeah, it stung. It stung a lot, and there was a few things, that I think you can attribute to that, which obviously I'll talk about. A few players, obviously, people throwing jabs at, but I don't think it's particularly one player you can have a dig at, but I'll get into it. I think the biggest issue we have to face at the moment is that we've forgotten how to win. How many times has this happened now this season where the game's been ours for the taking, where either we've had a big lead, blown it, or it's been close, we've been up late in the game, blown it. When we kicked that goal and hit the lead late in the last quarter, I thought we've almost hit the lead too early because there's still too much time for us to lose this. And sure enough, Cam Zerha, as easy as you like, walks through a pack pretty much and kicks the goal. So I think we really got to figure out or learn how to win again. And, obviously it was our execution that killed us. That was the biggest thing. I mean, I think from inside 30 metres, we kicked 1-9. Junior footballers kick better scores than that with inside 30. 1-9 is ridiculous. But in saying that as well, our pressure rating, we was rating 1.6. Now, over the last 4 or 5 years, that has been our go-to. That has been our style of football, is that pressure. And then to see us have a 1.6 rating is bottom of the ladder. It's, yeah, like I said, it's heartbreaking to say the least. I think Damien Hardwick said it perfectly in his press conference after the game, and I loved that he was brutally honest. Like, I don't like when coaches beat around the bush. If you have a big loss like that, I want the coach to smash the club. I like that. I like that hard-hitting style of coaching. And I think what he said was true, and Richmond keep beating Richmond. Like, the games are there for the taking. They're there for us to win them, and, we lose them. And I mean, I know the big one everyone's going on about is the Jake Arts play on at the end of the game. And look, at the time, it happened right in front of me. And I saw him take the chest mark, and I was with my cousin who isn't a fan of Jake Arts, to say the least. And when he took the mark, I started grabbing him. I thought, he's done it. Artsy's going to kick the winner, And then I've looked back up, and all of a sudden he's played on, and I was thinking, I couldn't believe it. But I've gone back, I've watched the replay a few times, and look, I'm not defending him. I mean, in that situation with that many seconds on the clock, you stop every time and you go back for a set shot. But I've had a look at it, and when he took that mark, his opponent fell to the ground, and I think that's all he saw, and he thought, I'm out. And in his head and any other stage of the game, you'd almost say that's the right call. He wasn't spatially aware that there was another North player coming from the other direction. And in the replay, you can actually see that he didn't see someone coming from the other side until it was too late and he'd played on. So as much as that's a killer, it wasn't as bad as what I originally thought it was, because he saw his opponent go to ground. He probably thought there was just them two out in the goal square, or in the forward 50, sorry. Probably thought it was just them two, and he thought, I'm out, and I'm going to use my pace, get to the square. Didn't realise it was a North player, which is still, it's still a mistake. Being spatially unaware is still a mistake. I'm not excusing that, but I can see now why he chose to play on, which obviously is what a lot of people are attributing to the loss. But you can blame Jake Arts all you want. I mean, an unexperienced player coming into the side, but we kicked 11 goals, 22 for the game. We had 21 more inside 50s than North Melbourne did, and we kicked more behinds than North Melbourne had scoring shots. So, blame Artsy all you want, but we lost the game for ourselves. Jack Rewalt kicks 2 goals, 6. Noah Cumberland, which I'll speak about later, loved his game, but I think he kicked 3 goals, 4. So really inaccurate. And they're not the only two guys. We had a lot of shots that we could have easily kicked. They were all very gettable goals. It wasn't like we were all, kicking check sides in the boundary line, which even then would be inexcusable because look for a better option, but we weren't doing that. So that's another one. I'm really over the Noah Bolter, Josh Gibcus forward line experiment. I know, if we're desperate and you need Gibcus to push forward, do it. But Gibcus is a backman. Let's keep him there. And, last year we're calling Noah Bolter the next Alex Rance. And honestly now, it doesn't even look like he belongs at AFL level at times. I think we've just got to, we've copped it without Lynch before. I think we're going to have to do it again and put Bolter and Gibcus in the back line where they belong, and rely on Jack as the sole one out. Have Noah Cumberland come through, and if we've got to bring in a Sydney Stack or something like that, just for a bit of electricity in the forward line, and because I can't imagine Artsy getting another gig. I mean, not because of that particular incident, but just I think Morris almost has to come back in with the pressure rating we had. You almost need Morris back in the side, which I'm upset he got dropped to begin with, to be honest. I love what he brings. He didn't have many touches the week before against the Suns, but he didn't need them. I mean, you want them, obviously, and you want goals on the board, but he had, I think it was 27 pressure acts or something like that, which I think was probably more than we had for the whole night against North. It was pretty hard to watch. We're becoming a team that's too easy to score against. I mean, I'm pretty sure North kicked 7 goals straight at one point in the game, and North have lost 14 games in a row, and then we're going to let them kick 7 goals straight against us. You'd really want a little bit more pride, a bit more pride there. And North kicked 8 goals from stoppage, including that Cam Zurhaar one, which was the nail in the coffin. It killed us. It was hard to watch. Like I said, we really couldn't execute. By the stat sheet, and we should have blown them away. Like I said, way more scoring shots, way more inside 50s. The game was there, and we didn't grasp it. And even when we came back late, we made, we're 35 points down. There's 1 point in the game. We came back, hit the front. Wasn't by much, but we hit the front. And that the team that we want to be and we believe that we are really should then put the foot down. You're fair enough, you have lapses occasionally. Teams are going to jump you. But once you get that lead back and you get that momentum, you can just go to push and keep going. And we just couldn't do it. We couldn't match them. Cam Zurhaar honestly looks like prime Dustin Martin on Saturday night. And Zurhaar's a good player. I'm not taking that away from him, but he looked like one of the best players in the game the way he was going. He couldn't miss. I think he might have kicked 6 straight, which we couldn't even kick 6 straight as a club. So, yeah, look, it's heartbreaking. It really makes our chances to play finals hard. I think we're very lucky that some other teams don't really want to play finals by the looks of it either, with St Kilda and Gold Coast losing to Essendon, which I can't believe. I don't know how they beat us last week and then lose to Essendon the week after. It's bizarre to me. But anyway, we've had some results go our way, which is good. We just got to keep winning from here, and we've only got a hard draw to go with Freo, Brisbane, Port, and in Adelaide. So it's a tough run home, but I think we do tend to get up for the bigger games. So hopefully that is the case, and we don't do what we did on Saturday night. And honestly, just look pretty useless. I could probably rant a lot more and go on about it, but I don't want to keep things too negative. I want to talk about the upsides a little bit, because I did think there was a few, believe it or not. And I'll start with our debutant, Tyler Sonsie. We've all been calling for him to get in the side. I mean, a lot of people have been waiting for Sonsie to get a gig. We've been looking for midfielders, and I thought he was fantastic on debut. He had 19 disposals at 84% efficiency. 5 of those were contested. He's had 5 score involvements and 4 inside 50s, sorry. And for a young guy, he was at 13 centre bounces throughout the game, which, you can't ask for much more from the guy. I thought he was fantastic. I hope he gets more game time this season. I know we're going to have some people come back in like Dusty and Lambert if he gets his hips right. But I really want to see Sonsie get more game time, because I think he was fantastic in his first game. And yeah, like I said, you really couldn't have asked for much more from him. And speaking of, I mentioned him earlier, Noah Cumberland, second game for the year. I don't know how many for his career, but it wouldn't be much more than 2. But he looked fantastic. I mean, he couldn't kick as straight as we would have liked. Like I said, he kicked 3 goals, 4, but to kick 3 goals in your second game of footy is pretty good. He's looking more and more comfortable. I think he's this close to really taking that next step. I reckon there's a few moments where he doesn't look as confident as what he would if he had 10, 15, 20 games under his belt. I don't think he's far off. I reckon we're going to keep playing and keep blooding him. He's not a tall forward. He's not going to be that key position player, but I'm getting 2017 Josh Caddy vibes from him, where he's going to be that medium-sized forward that's just going to be able to... He's going to draw a defender to him, because he's got that ability to, take a good mark and go back and kick goals, especially from what we're seeing at VFL level. And I reckon he's going to be that Josh Caddy type. And if him, Lynch, and Rewalt can get it working together, in the back half of this year, especially once Lynch comes back in, I think we can cause damage down there in the forward line. And we've got to work something out, because at the moment, I don't think our small forward thing is really working for us at the moment. We can't find a small forward to do the job. I mean, Morris has been great. He's been putting on a lot of pressure, but he's not getting consistent game time into him. He's not kicking as many goals as we probably want him to as well. Obviously, Rioli's gone to the back. Castagna can't find himself in the side. So we need to work on something. And I reckon that medium-sized forward in Noah Cumberland could be the answer. I mean, I don't want to see Bolter and Gibcus up there anymore, like I said. So if that means Cumberland comes in and plays that role alongside Lynch, who I know will miss 1 more week, but when he comes back, let's really try and get that to work. I think that could be a big thing for us. So that was another big one. Ben Miller is looking more comfortable as well. I know there was a couple of mistakes towards the end of the game, but it was also really good to see him taking the game on and kicking that big goal late in the last quarter there. I think that might have been the one that gave us the lead potentially as well. And that, just that instinct to run forward, get it on the boot quickly after a handball from Sonzi of all players. So I really enjoyed watching him take the game on a bit more. You're going to make mistakes. He's not used to that level of football. And we saw those. Unfortunately, the timing of them wasn't exactly fantastic, but I'm still liking what I'm seeing from Ben Miller, and I reckon he can develop on a really good key position backman for us, which is awesome. There are young guys. Let's get into some of our older guys. Robbie Tarrant was probably our best player for the night. I mean, before the Carlton game, I reckon a lot of people were sort of telling Robbie, hang him up, you're done. But ever since that Carlton, and I wasn't one of those, I think he was just probably mismatched. I think he's going to play in that more stagnant, big body type forward, like a Tom Hawkins, like a Levi Casbolt in the previous weeks. But I thought he's been fantastic the last month or so. He's been absolutely unreal, and I reckon he was our best player by country mile on Saturday night. Every time I went near him, I felt safe. I felt like it wasn't going to get past him, and most of the time it didn't. And another one, Cochin, he comes back in. He's missed a couple of weeks of footy after that chest thing that happened to him. I can't remember what it was, but he comes back into the side, and he didn't look like he'd lost a step. He was fantastic as well. Another one of our better players of the night. And again, he's going to be crucial going forward. If we want to play finals, if we want to scrape in, somehow Fox Footy has us still finishing 8th, which, I'll take that. I know a lot of people are saying just play the kids, don't worry about finals this year, but I really want to have one last push. Just even if we, don't win a final, as terrible as that is, I'd rather see us make the 8. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it's a long time coming. Few games to get through to do that, and it's going to be a little bit like 2014, where we had to win our last 8 or 9 games straight to make the top 8, and it's going to be a bit like that. Like I said before, we can't really afford to slip up anymore. We got Freo, Brisbane, Freo at Marvel, Brisbane at the G, which helps. We got Port Adelaide in Adelaide after that, followed by Hawthorn and Essendon to finish off the year. So we've only got, Freo, Brisbane, Port. We've only got 5 games left, and you really got to win at least 13 games this season to play finals, and we're a little bit off that at the moment, but I think we can maybe afford to drop one, but let's, why think that way? Let's just try win them all. And hopefully the big occasion sort of, we rise to it a little bit when we get Dustin and Lynch back. I think they'll miss this week against Freo by all reports, but they should hopefully be back for the Brisbane game at the G, which would be massive. Who knows? So it's not all doom and gloom. I think if you look at some of the positives, even in the games like the Gold Coast one where we're 40 points up, this one here, we were dominating inside 50s, scoring opportunities. It was just execution that killed us. I think there's plenty of good signs, but we're just, we're not capitalizing and we're not burying teams where we should. And I think that's an issue, but I still think we're doing a lot of things right, which is hard to say after a loss like the one we just had. But I still think there is a lot of things we're doing right. It's just a matter of putting them all together. And, I think if Dimmer's going to make a few changes, make a few big calls, I'm not sure what it is. I know Sydney Stack, is back from injury. Is he someone you look at to bring straight back into the side? I mean, I know he's been playing VFL all season. Do you bring him in? A Matty Parker? Do you bring someone different in just to try and change? Maybe something small. That's all it's got to be. Something small could be the answer. I'm not saying that I think those guys should be in, but, it's a thought. So let me know what you guys think. Disappointing game. A few, really good positives to take out of it, like Cumberland and Sonzi, but obviously a lot of disappointing things as well. So we'll go forward. And look, another one as well. I know we see it on social media a lot, but let's try not player bash. I know on the night I was pretty dirty, especially, Jake Arts and stuff like that, and even Rewalt for having the misses he did. But let's try not player bash. It really doesn't get us anywhere. And at the end of the day, they all want the same result as we do. I mean, they don't do it on purpose. It's, obviously you want better from your players and you expect more, and I completely understand that because I'm on board with it. But I think bashing our players isn't getting anybody anywhere. So I think if we can avoid that, it's all the better. And let's try to get down to as many games as we can in the back end of the year. We've only got one away game, and we're in Melbourne next, out of the next 5 weeks, we're only one away game. So let's try to get to as many as we can. But until the Fremantle preview, let's try not to dwell on this game too much. And I'll speak to you guys soon. Go Tigers.